Story wife now wants to work it out to start this whole thing off. I caught my wife having an affair right after Thanksgiving. We have been married for 14.5 years now. She met a guy at a bar during girls' night, gave him her number, and they began having an emotional affair. Then it progressed and she slept with him, and I found messages where they planned to be together forever. I work out of town for 3 days out of the week, and she told me that she was lonely and I didn't pay her enough attention. I was devastated to the point that I couldn't really function. I left the house and went to my parents while she stayed in the house with our 2 daughters. I begged her not to do this multiple times, and she told me that she wasn't happy and that she found someone that could make her happy. I got a lawyer and started the divorce process. We already have a split made, and now it's just finalizing the process. I started dating a woman and it was going pretty well. She was pretty much everything you could want in a woman. She was highly educated, fit, funny, has a great career, has her own money, etc. She wanted commitment from me that I couldn't give because I am still very much in love with my wife. So I broke it off with her and called my wife again to beg her to take me back. I'm actually ashamed of me crying to her and pleading. She again told me no and said that she was happier now than she ever was with me. The very next weekend, I planned to take my oldest daughter out for dinner since I haven't had one-on-one time and my youngest was staying with a friend. I show up to the house to pick my daughter up and I invite my wife thinking that she would decline. She accepted and went to dinner with us. We had a nice dinner and great conversation. My daughter stayed the night with me and I thought that was the end of it. When I dropped my daughter off the next day, my wife said that she wanted to fix our marriage. We ended up writing emails back and forth, and she told me the things that she didn't like about me were things that she saw me fix while I have been without her. When I pressed her about what changed her mind, she ended up telling me that the guy that she was sleeping with rejected her and blocked her on all platforms. Now that I know this, it makes me not want to be with her. I don't want to be her safe and second choice. She's the love of my life, and I want her to love me like I love her. It disgusts me that she was intimate with another man in my house and in my bed. On the other hand, I will never be able to love someone as much as I love her. I know that if I work it out with her, that my children's lives will be better because of it. She also wants me to get a different job that will allow me to be home every night, and that would severely limit my upward trajectory in the company I work for. She flat refuses to move for the sake of my job, and she expects me to sacrifice my career for our marriage that she destroyed. I don't know what to do in this situation. I feel like if the other man was still around, she would be with him and she wouldn't give two shts about me. I think she was more upset that her affair of 8 weeks ended than she was about our 14-year marriage ending. Any advice would be appreciated. Reader comment: if the other guy was still around, she would be with him, and if you try to work it out, it will just be a matter of time before she does it again. She only wants to get back together because you're her best available option at the moment. The affair fog is gone, and she realized that she can't keep her lifestyle if you divorce. Don't be her backup plan. And the problem was that the guy dumped her because he didn't want to take her on full time. If OP takes her back, he may be fine going back to their old arrangement. Reader comment: you need to stop with this love of my life BS. Your wife is clearly not as in love with you as you are with her. You'll never find another great love if you keep yourself tied to the anchor that is your cheating wife. You can either accept being her second choice and backup plan until she tosses you aside once again, or you can respect yourself, be a model of self-respect for your children, and move on to rebuild your life with somebody who loves you the way you love them. Reader comment: no offense, I will be blunt because you need to hear this. And I know I will be downvoted. Stop being a doormat, for the love of God, man, this was genuinely tough to read. There is nothing wrong with loving your spouse, but answer the following. Why were you working out of town? Was it not for your family? Why is it that you must bear the responsibility for her actions when she is the one committing them? Does she not know that you are making these sacrifices for your family? Why is it that you accept yourself to be a second choice? What if next month, year, or decade he messages her back? Then what? Do you think she will not leave you then? Can you genuinely look at yourself in the mirror and answer these honestly? Look, man, sometimes it's painful to confront truths about ourselves, but the first step of improvement is accepting these truths. Grow a backbone, and for the love of God, she isn't the love of your life. The love of your life would not stab you in the back. Tell me if you consider her the love of your life, then what about your enemies? Overall, best of luck, man, genuinely best of luck, but keep in mind your wife isn't a safe partner. Story 2, I thought it was the end of the world. It wasn't. Today is 2 years from what felt like the end of the world. I still remember driving home in shock after the woman I moved for and planned to propose to said we should break up. It would be another couple weeks before I learned she was sleeping with a coworker and chose a dalliance with him over a relationship with me. Reaching 2 years is a big deal for me because it seemed to be the average time at which people claim to get over it. I really hoped that by today I would be 100% back to the person I was before. That's not the case, unfortunately, but it isn't all bad news. Some things I learned. I have a much better sense of self-worth today than I did with my ex. Our relationship validated me as a man, which was why her infidelity was emasculating. It took a long time to reconstruct mentally because I had to build anew, but when I did, the new foundation was reinforced with a sense of dignity and worth not rooted in a partner's approval. The pain of infidelity is unlike anything else in the world. Words like hurtful, excruciating, or catastrophic all feel insufficient. The closest I've found is immolation, because everything we built was destroyed, deliberately. Betrayal trauma is just that, trauma. One has to treat it less like a wound that will heal completely and more like PTSD, or something that will always be in the recesses of your mind. I did finally reach a point where I don't care about her anymore. That took less than 2 years, thankfully. I don't look her up anymore because I'm not interested in her life. It just doesn't matter anymore. For that I'm grateful. I will never plead for someone to choose me or like me. If they don't treat a relationship with value and respect, then it doesn't have what it takes to sustain, and I won't bleed myself dry trying to give it life. I look forward to the day when I'm no longer hit with waves of sadness because of what she did. One of those waves hit today, but it's not as bad as a year ago or 6 months ago. In time, their amplitude will continue to diminish. I just have to be patient. Reader comment, getting to that meh feeling about an ex is such a relief. Unfortunately, she's the mother to my kids, so I couldn't really cut her off, but the fact that I can look at her today and literally not care about her life or want her affection is such a wonderful thing. Original poster, it takes such a long time to get there, but relief is exactly the right word. Sorry you can't cut ties completely. I didn't realize my ex did me a favor by ghosting me for her new guy. Reader comment, I was betrayed too. In 2 separate relationships. The first one, it was just texting, flirting. But it completely killed me. Every day I'd wake up and was the first thing that came to my mind and ate me alive. The second was a lot more serious, and I'm going through that severe shock and turmoil right now. I look back at that first relationship now. I honestly don't care. I forgive her. I don't hold any grudges. She even texted me a few weeks ago, and I genuinely hoped she had found a decent man. I think in time, the pain really does go away. I think it does help finding someone new though. It's what initially helped me recover. Original poster, I'm glad you were able to forgive one of your offenders. I'm just at the indifferent stage, still working my way towards forgiveness. A few months after my ex left, I met my current partner. She's great and has helped tremendously, including talking with me about our similar pasts. I hope one day the pain disappears completely, but I've accepted that a fragment might always be a part of me. It is what it is at this point. Reader comment, what happened with her? Original poster, she moved states for a new job shortly after we split. I don't know what she is up to now. Story 3, my STB ex, a former bar girl, is leaving after getting her green card. I made a minor change on age as I don't want to get found out. Some relatives and my wife use Reddit. My wife is leaving for her wealthy client. I am doing everything I can to obtain evidence that she has been cheating all this time. I'm really at a loss. I brought her here to the U.S. 16 years ago when she was a destitute in her home country with no future. She could barely make her ends meet back then. As soon as she arrived here, she wanted to work and get an education, even though I offered for her to be a som even before we have a daughter. She refused because she said she does not have an immediate family here but me. If something were to happen to me, she wants to be able to survive, and now it makes a lot of sense that it was a ruse all along. She has planned to leave me. I met her. She was working at a bar in the Philippines. She is an attractive Asian Spanish girl whose dad left her mom. Her dad was a soldier from the U.S. She worked at a bar to make money for her entire family, and at her age she was the head of the household. She was raising her brother and younger sister and was caring for her sick grandmother. I saved her from that lifestyle. She is blaming my online activity for seeking a divorce. She discovered that I had been paying for it and had been chatting with several cam girls online for the past 16 years. I thought this was a common knowledge for her since she worked at a bar. Now she is saying how hurt she was and that she felt betrayed. She gathered 7 years of credit card statements and was able to get access to my online accounts. She has copies of all those chats I made with girls. She is trying to ruin my life when she is leaving me for someone else. She said she has not cheated on me and that if she wanted, she could have. She left and I know she's dating that lawyer already. I'm trying to get full custody of my daughter as I don't think her background being a former bar girl is good for well-being of my child. She's telling the court that she has been in college since she was 20 and took a job as barista to support her education. Now she is a broker for some financial institutions. Well, if it weren't for me bringing her over here, she would never be where she is. She told me that she is willing to leave the house to me, but she wants her over and a split custody. Mind you, she hasn't told me all this through her lawyer has been communicating with mine. She refuses all contact. We live in an at-fault state. My profession is useless in trying to get evidence that she cheated. She told me that if I refuse a custody agreement, she will use all those proof that I cheated. I never cheated on her. Chatting online is not cheating. Meanwhile, she has been dining with the lawyer. Edit. I'm sure my wife knows my online activities since we got married in 2005 and where I met her. She should know my hobby by now. She thinks my online activity is cheating, whereas I know for a fact she's sleeping with her lawyer. I just don't have proof right now. I'm here venting, and I need some advice. Edit. My wife was of legal age when we met, and I did not prey on her. If anything, I think she has been targeting a man who would get her out of poverty and leave me when her plan came in fruition. At this point, I just want my daughter out of her life. I am telling the court about her former bar girl job, and I will also let the embassy know that she lied about her past in her application for a green card. She's a U.S. citizen now. I'm exploring a possibility of getting her citizenship reversed, and hopefully she gets deported. A 13 years age gap is not an issue. She wasn't a minor when I met her. She was of legal age when we married. Reader comment, IMO, virtual or IRL, paying for a sex worker is cheating. Did you ever discuss what you considered a cheating boundary that most would consider cheating? You married her whether a barfly or bartender, you accepted her past. She's made something of your life and you can't fault her for it. If she's cheating, there is no excuse for her behavior. But 16 years of putting up with your behavior, it's difficult to take your side. Original poster, we never discussed since she wanted to forget the life she left behind. Out of respect for her. I expected that this is something she knew all along but never mentioned or say anything. She acted all shocked when she saw charges on our credit card and confronted me with it. I told her we haven't been doing well. Then the next day behind my back she called all banks and got statements for all my spending, and then she hacked my email and gained to my online activity. That's when she left. She is very vindictive. Her dad found out she's here and he attempted a relationship with her, and I encouraged her to talk to him, but she said she never have a father and he is not her father. I should have known better what kind of person she is when she ices out her own dad. Reader comment, let me get this straight. You have been unfaithful, which she has proof of, but you think that she's unfaithful, based on absolutely no proof. Also, WTF, would you bring someone over to a foreign country and ask them to be a strictly Som? Of damn course she needed to have an education and a job if her relationship with you went sideways, both of which she got on her own, by the way, so stop pretending you're some kind of savior. She's a smart woman, and you're just pissed off that she eluded you. Original poster, she would not have gotten here without me. I spent the money and the house we lived in together was mine before we were together. Yet I put her on the deed. Just because I don't have proof yet does not mean she didn't cheat. Reader comment, chatting online and if it's cheating. You don't think a former bar girl is good for your daughter? How about a cheater not being a good role model? For 16 years you were essentially cheating, so you thinking she is sleeping with her lawyer is just speculation. Stop trying to justify and take responsibility. Original poster, I never touch another woman in my life for 16 years. I believe she is cheating. How can she leave just like that and throw everything away unless she's already dating? The closest guy she's always seen dining with was her divorce.